Hello, and welcome to Adventure's Edge Session 0.
Woohoo!
This is Don, and we are all at the table
Yay!
for what is our actual first recording session.
Should I not be interrupting you?
Well, we're going to work those kinks out, but welcome. So, again, hopefully by now you've already listened to the first episodes and you kind of know our voices because we're going to be dropping this a little later on in the season, but this is our Session 0, and we're going to work through our characters and get the background details worked out today. So at the table, we'll do some quick introductions. Starting to my left, we have...
Hi, I'm Rochelle.
Welcome, Rochelle.
Hi, I'm Glow.
And I'm Matt. Jeff.
And Thad.
All right, the crew is here. Everybody's excited. We're in the new space. And we're just going to dive right in. So in a previous recording, we've already discussed what a Session 0 is, but today we're going to do some background information. Everybody's already shown up today with some characters. Well, they already did some pre-recording discussions, picked out some character types, and have shown up at the table with a character mostly complete, if not all the way complete. And what we're going to do now is talk about who they are, why they're here, and how they know each other, so that when we start our Session 1, we can get going. So we could do roundtable, or if anybody's excited to go first, who wants to talk about their character?
Don't ever. Why? I don't.
You all looked at us.
I know.
Right.
My expectation
Eye
is.
contact, Rochelle.
No, I'm like that. I'm always like Thad's always ready to go. Like I'm like.
I am, but
Yeah.
okay.
Lead us off.
Well, I'm Darun. Darun Stonebreaker. I am a dwarf. I'm a little bit tall for a dwarf. As I stand at 4'7". I've got a beard, even though some people in this world wouldn't have dwarfs with beards. I come from the western side of Tellus, and I grew up like most dwarfs, fighters, but I don't have much of taste for blood. So I told my elders and my father, and they sent me away to join a certain group called the Earth Elders. And there I learned the arts of taking care of the old artifacts and monoliths, temples, ruins that create magic in this world. We are often seen as a little bit odd because we are not social butterflies. But I nonetheless learned, and I have keen skills in stone cutting and architecture, and I help rebuild these ley lines. And my companion, although Earth Elders a lot of times do not have the small groups, but my companion is Kodra. She was left behind by her pack after she got injured against a giant elk. So she just kept following me around until I said, you know what, I'll share some of my food with you. And the rest was history. My hair is locked in clay, so I have what you would consider dreadlocks, but I use clay to keep them formed because I am of the earth, like many of our kind. And I will go back to the earth once my adventures are done.
Awesome. Well, Darun.
Darun. If you want to put a little R in there, Darun.
Darun?
And I like the arts
Darun.
of the druidic.
Darun.
Darun.
What kind of animal is?
Oh, Kodra, she's a black wolf.
This is a black wolf.
Nice.
She's very kind. She doesn't always listen to me, so I apologize in advance.
Awesome.
I just realized I got rid of the total Sean Connery thing, but we'll let it go.
Well, I imagine part of what we're doing
Right,
today is
right.
working out.
You'll hear our voices differently.
Yeah, we'll try to nail those down as much as we can today. We'll see how that goes. Well, since you started us off, let's just go counterclockwise. That way,
Oh.
we have less finger pointing.
Sure. It'll be less intimidating for the rest of the table. Well, my character, or do we want to
Let's just, yeah.
Yeah,
Jeff.
You're Jeff
You're Jeff.
as a human.
have Jeff as a human?
Jeff
I'm just
is-
going to play me. All my stats are real low, though. No, so I would be Tommy Scanderson. People call me
Wait.
Tommy Gunn.
That was Gunderson.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh.
Tommy Scanderson.
Oh, Thomas Gunderson.
Right.
You kind of like rolled that all together.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I just went right for it.
Okay.
So people call me Tommy Gunn, right? So I'm a young man, 6'3", right, 185, and I work on the fishing boats of the city that we all live in. I spent my time as an exchange agent, so I know a bit of language because, as I always say, there's a lot of pretty faces in the world. And I want to be able to talk with them, right? So I got a gift of the gab, and, just making this way in my world as best as possible. So, when the need calls for it, I'll fight with my trident and then my brass knuckles. I like to call Mama as my brass knuckles, so they sing you a lullaby. Again, when the occasion calls for it.
I am
So-
watching an episode of Peaky Blinders.
It's as close as I can get, right? So, I'm pretty loyal to my friends, but not necessarily loyal to the law. But I'll do what it takes. And that's the story of Tommy.
Well, welcome, Tommy. Brilliant.
Tommy, does your trident have a name?
No, it's more of like a tool to trade, right?
Okay.
Because I'm a fisherman.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just like what I got with me.
But the brass knuckles have a special place.
Oh, mama. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a friend of mine said, I might talk with them, the brass knuckles, and then that way mama said knock you out kind of thing.
Ah, Mama said knock you out.
I like it.
It's great. I can feel the contempt from our neighbors at the table.
I see no trouble with this at all.
Mama's good when they want to go to
We
sleep.
won't
Trident's
find
good when you
ourselves.
need to make a point.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, thanks, Tommy.
Good to have you back.
All right, Matt. So, who did you bring to the table?
I'm bringing Trunk. He is a troll who grew up where he doesn't belong. Abandoned, seemingly, as a kid in the neighboring forest, raised by Fae. He's got a rather child's heart. He knows good people should have good things, and bad people, well, just gotta find out where their teeth is and take them out sometime. He's a cleric. He's probably taller.
The sigh.
I was so happy to hear those
I got some healing skills.
Uh-huh.
So, but this group
I-
just get ready to be busy.
I hear your sigh of relief. I said cleric, not healer.
Oh, no. He's not that kind of cleric.
Not that kind of cleric.
Don't worry. Trunk's point in life is to bring restoration to people, whether that is peace of mind, healing injuries indeed, and otherwise just helping them live the fullest joy that they need in life. And for people who want to repress that joy, well, that's where we get punching.
Ooh. Repressing.
All right. Welcome, Trunk. That's so much easier to say. Must be practicing Derun.
You don't have to put the R in there, but
I will try.
Derun.
Derun.
Gotta think
Derun.
of what
Yeah.
Tommy is going to refer to you as, because it's not going to be that. Guarantee you that.
Just not D.
Hey.
Hello, JD.
Oh, I like it. D-man.
Cold worse.
What'd you
Well,
say?
I've been called worse.
Oh, Cold Wars.
Awesome. All right. Well, awesome. Welcome, Trunk. Glow, who did you bring to the table today?
All right. Well, I brought a Bramble. Bramble is a bard and a faun. He's kind of tall for a faun. He's like 5'3", so nothing crazy, but a little tall. Yeah, and so he lives in the forest with the other fae, and he is an entertainer. So a lot of his skills he knows because he likes to entertain, and that's kind of his role in the community, is he keeps things interesting. So he fights mostly with throwing knives, which is a skill that was picked up from basically using it as a party trick. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Anything else you want to share, Bramble?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
So how does Bramble entertain?
Playing instruments mostly. Yeah. He knows a couple instruments, but he mostly plays the lute. Yeah, he also can sing, but yeah.
Bard's gonna bard.
Bard's gonna bard.
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
can't put them in a box.
No,
There's a lot of things
they
do.
won't let you.
Any dancing?
Oh, not really, but
Oh.
Not that kind of
Not that
You know, I don't know. There might be.
Just when you need the added
Don't know where we're
percussion.
going with entertainer and dancer.
yeah. No, with the hooves, it's a little,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
a
you
little
might
hard.
have like a river dance kind of thing.
yeah,
Ah, there you go.
a tap dancer.
I was hoping for the triple threat.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest.
I see.
There's lots of time.
Yeah, this is only session 0. I mean,
True,
we're
true.
good.
Well, he's just trading off the dancing for the stabbing. So
Mhm.
That's maybe that's part of the triple threat.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. All
So
right.
I actually want to back up real quick
Oh.
to Trunk. Sorry about
Okay.
that. I know you're so excited. Description. Like how big is Trunk? What does he look like?
Right. So Trunk is just a little guy, about 7'4",
Hmm.
about 380 pounds or so. Our fellow Fae are not going to be helping me up climbing up any walls at all. Let's see.
I don't know if any of us is going to help you up climbing walls.
No. Let's just hope that he doesn't stumble. Bright green eyes, brown hair, kind of horns sticking out the side of his head. A very kind of slack-jawed, nice but real dumb kind of expression on his face at pretty much all times.
Excellent.
Perfect. Okay. And
Wait, I need to know, is Tommy intimidated by that height?
Tommy's certainly not that tall, but no, Tommy's got a pretty good self.
Like he's a confident
Oh, yeah.
dude. He doesn't care.
No,
All right.
yeah, he'll be all right.
all right, Rochelle, who did you bring to the table today?
So,
Now it all depends on how strong he is.
Right. Wait till he
Not
does something
how
really
tall.
cool, then he'll be
and then
intimidated.
he'll be like,
He'll be like,
oh,
come on.
So I'm going to be playing Zinnia Mosswing, who is a fairy, a tiny fairy, a teeny tiny fairy. So, very proud of her 12.5-inch height, with purple eyes and really wild green hair, like untamable curls going everywhere, and green wings, and capable of flight with fairy dust, and also happens to be a novice wizard. And we'll get into our backstories shortly, right?
Yeah.
'Kay.
Just wanted everybody to get a sense of who you are, and actually for my own benefit, making some notes here. And
I have a familiar, a fox named Nipper, who, because I am tiny, I will, when I'm not flying, will be able to ride.
mhm.
That's so cool.
And Nipper is like a large red fox.
Yes, yes. Well,
Just
a medium.
Imagine you're just like
No, not even a medium, a
jumping
small.
through the
Yeah,
forest,
well,
holding on to
I-
it.
Right there.
Yes, but when I say large, a large breed fox, like a Arctic fox, but
Arctic
he-
foxes are small.
or gray fox,
Gray
sorry.
fox, yeah.
But it's still a small creature,
Well, it's a red fox. It's just a large for a red
large
fox.
for a red fox.
Small,
Yes.
a bit relevant.
Yes. Relative in size to me is large, but yes.
Awesome. Okay, that is our party.
Wow, the size difference from
You guys-
Yes.
Yeah.
7.
blue,
Full
blue,
range.
blue, blue, blue.
line you up in a row, and you cover.
Yeah, none of us are the same height, even close to it.
Nope.
Nope.
That is actually kind of amazing. And
Trunk has never been jealous watching how fun it is to ride a fox. He's never thought about it once, not
No.
even once. Mm-mm.
Trunk
Must
is
be
large
pouting.
enough that the fox could ride you, and Zinnia can ride the fox.
Yeah.
This has almost certainly occurred.
Okay, well, that sounds awesome. It sounds like a lot of fun. So, hopefully you kind of all have, maybe read a little bit of the backstory stuff I gave you. For people listening to this, I will be sharing links out if you want to read through, if that's your sort of thing. There's going to be information about the world. It is never going to be a requirement, obviously. So what we're going to do now is talk about, we know who you are, but how you came to be here, and possibly if or how you will know each other. So we're going to be picking up in the town of Raven Rock, which sits on a small river near a large forest called the Hollowwood, it's a very magical forest, known to have fae in it. And I imagine that is probably where many of you fae people have lived or still do live. So it is convenient that we already had this in place. It's kind of funny because obviously I didn't know what everybody was making, but preparing the adventure, like there were going to be fae things, and sure enough, they're in the party. So that's fun. So we've kind of already talked about, I've talked to a few of you separately about some of your backstories. But what we do now is let's figure out maybe a little bit of how you would know each other. So we'll do this the other way around now. So obviously, Rochelle, you just introduced Xenia to us, and you said you were a fledgling wizard,
Yes.
and obviously from the Hollywood.
Yes.
What brought you to the lovely town of Raven Rock?
All right. So let me see if I can get this voice. Okay. So I was just doing my, usual out in the woods kind of, I've always loved plants and the animals, and I was out, investigating some of the mushrooms in the forest and just trying to discern some different uses. And then there was this old man out there walking around, and he was clearly looking for something. And I clearly know probably a lot more than he does about what's in the what's the name of my forest again?
Hollywood.
Hollowwood. I should write that down. You humans and your silly names. Hollowwood. I clearly know much more about the Hollowwood than he did. So I asked him, well, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? What are you looking for? And he didn't want to answer me, but I'm like, I can help you. And he's finally told me what he was looking for, and I helped him find it. And then he wouldn't tell me what he wanted it for. So I followed him home, and I just kept asking him questions. And finally, he relented and told me what he was doing. And I just stayed around for a long time, and I learned how to be a wizard from him. And then he told me that he had taught me everything he knew, and he sent me on my way. And then I went into the forest again, and I met my new best friend. And her name, I can't remember what's her name.
Brina.
Brina. I need to write that down too. Brina.
Did you already have a name for the wizard? Because otherwise I will generate one here.
Okay, generate a name for my wizard friend.
How does Godfrey sound?
Sure, I don't care.
All right. Well, 'cause
Human
he's-
names. I don't care.
All right. So there is a wizard Godfrey who lives probably in a cottage somewhere a little outside of town, maybe in a tower. All right. Cool. All right, continue on. So you followed, you saw Brina.
Yes, and Brina was wonderful. And then I started teaching her how to speak Fae. And she was just, or the Fae language, but
Pythia.
Pythian. And so, she was just delightful. You know Brina.
Yes, I do. I do. Who is it?
He said
Oh.
he made a mis-
Yeah,
he said
that's what I
he's seen
was
a lot
looking
of
at you.
pretty
Sorry.
from
Well, I'm sorry. I was distracted. There was a little bit of there was a little noise that I was trying to hone in on and to see if there was something that somebody was doing that was causing it. It was just like,
Was it that?
no, it was kind of an abrasive noise. I don't hear it now. Okay.
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 Wasn't
So
that right? It
sorry.
wasn't me going on my.
No.
Brina.
Brina.
Yeah. By the way, Tommy, maybe we should have started with you, but we didn't. By the way, you have a younger sister. We're gonna get to her right now.
Of course I do. Her name is Brina.
I know all about her.
Oh,
I know her my whole
Brina.
life.
Brina.
You can't tell me about my little sister.
Well, you've known her whole life, not your whole life, her whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yes. So,
And actually, I'm gonna mess with that a little bit too because I was doing a little story building.
oh,
And this is probably something that not everybody knows, but Tommy should know because he was alive. She was also a foundling,
Okay.
and your parents adopted her.
Yeah, but that's like a secret.
It's kind of a secret,
Don't like
right?
let that get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
anyway.
So she actually might not even know that either. In fact, I like that. So in which case, neither does. Sorry,
I don't know that. No.
you don't know that.
But Brina, she's just so fun and she's so funny. And we would make, flower crowns. And I just started, and she would come and visit me in the forest every day. And then eventually I was just like, she's like, oh, you should come home to my house. And so I followed her home. And then I saw her older brother, Tommy.
That's me.
And he is just wonderful. And so then I moved in. And so now I live with Brina at her house and I just do things around the house with her and then we go and play in the forest and it's just been great ever since.
And nobody else knows you're there.
Oh no, of course not.
Definitely not Tommy.
No, and Nipper comes and goes. He's very good at hiding. I don't know how long it's been now. I'm not very good at time.
So the fun part there, since you said you were teaching Brina Pythia,
Yes.
and I know when I was talking to Jeff and we're working on his languages, I clued you in on a little bit that so Brina started making up this little language, and she taught she this is one of your starting languages because you're apparently quite the expert linguist.
I am.
So she started teaching this funny little language, and it seemed really like she was spending a lot of time making it up. But you've learned this language from her, thinking the whole time it's just
Just a language between me and her.
yeah, unbeknownst that in fact it is a Fey language.
Okay.
And maybe that's even why maybe you've encouraged that so that Tommy's learning it and probably super exciting. Anyway. and Brina is really young, so I'm thinking right now she's probably 7 or 8.
I don't know. She's just a great playmate, though. She's so fun. I can't wait till we're all just one big happy family.
All right, so
How long do humans live?
well they can live up to be around 100. They're pretty comparable to regular humans. It helps us relate to them. So, but Fae live much longer. But you're probably less aware of that. Time is a construct to Fae.
Either way, magic can solve anything.
So that is going to be your tie to Tommy, but I'm thinking you also have some ties to our other Fae, at least tangentially. So we do have some other Fae here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Glow and Bramble. And let's start by, well, tell us a little bit more. So you're from the forest.
Yes.
Are you imagining that you have moved into the city, or that you at this whole time have just been living nearby in the forest?
This whole time I've just been in the forest.
All right.
I know Bramble, though.
Oh, of course. I mean, Bramble sounds like quite the entertainer.
Yes. And we grew up together.
Bramble's
so-
funny.
Yeah, I know Zinnia very well.
All right. So you guys obviously have that tie. That does mean, just so you know, when we record session 1, you won't come in right away. You're going to have a delay. I hate to do that. I like to get people into it, but I think that there's going to be a little delay while they go get you.
Yeah, I figured.
And I have some ideas of why they would go get you. Okay, so you've got there's a community, right? I mean,
Yes.
tell us. Do you have some thoughts on what that looks like?
I mean, it's just like we're all one big happy family. You know, we have our, separate families, but it's a very community driven area. So there's a lot of get-togethers. We often eat meals together, celebrate together, and that's where my expertise as a performer comes in. Is during many of those gatherings, I entertain.
Yeah, here the Fae throw great parties.
Yes.
Nice. So, do you think you have some contacts from the city? I mean, so there's obviously hunters and woodsmen and people that do go into the forest. There is a whole logging camp, which kind of creates this awkward sort of thing, a bit north of the river, where they are doing logging that the Fae, maybe interfere with, or maybe kind of direct, or maybe protect trees from time to time. But they would definitely know the Fae are there. Like, there's no question. People know the Fae are there.
Yeah, no, I've interacted with humans before. I don't go out of my way to interact with, but I've met some humans in the past.
Okay.
I think you should start. I definitely think you should start, messing with them. It's fun.
I may try that. I definitely have the skills to mess with them.
I mean, some humans are fun to just befriend, and some are fun to mess with.
All right. So, we have an idea where you're going to be. You're hanging out in the forest. You're chilling, and you probably have some specialty knowledge of the forest.
Yes. Yeah.
So any actions or quests into the forest, they could readily run into you, and your old friend Zinnia should have no problem in hey. So we don't want to role play that right now, but if that came up, you guys are BFFs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I definitely like them better than their friends, Birch and you.
It is a bit awkward since I don't know where she is right now. She just kind of up and left,
But she does that.
yeah.
Like,
no, that's pretty
that
typical
is
of her.
like-
Yeah.
She latches onto somebody and will disappear for 6 months, and then come back with these crazy stories of hey, there was this wizard and now I'm a magic user.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
yeah, shiny things are, who knows where she'll be.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, who are Birch and you?
Some of Bramble's other
Fawn friends?
fawn
Yeah.
friends.
Okay. All right, Birch and that's EWE?
No.
They're like wood. I see
the
what you
tree.
did there.
Yeah.
A little slow on the uptake.
Yeah, YEW.
Got it.
You.
Yeah, Birch and you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you. I'm glad you did not opt to go with you.
Yeah.
All right, then anything else you want to add to that? You think the rest will kind of come out through through the story.
Yeah, I think so. I think that needs to be shared right now.
All right, then we have our next Fae connection, Trunk.
I mean, speaking of Fae characters who are clearly 100% Fae, I'm Trunk, and I mean, can you guess why I'm named that way?
Because you're the drunk.
Because you're tall.
No, it's because I was found right over there by that tree.
Mm.
Ah.
Born right here in the forest, probably, maybe. I'm definitely a fairy. And, well, kinda. I'm also a troll, but, like a fairy troll. Like I'm both. And, I don't know, like Bramble said, we're all kind of a community, so I have a lot of different moms and dads. They all kind of trade me off, depending. Except for Auntie, she's always around. And, it's easy living here in the Hollow. Got happiness in my heart and light in my smile. And just like all the rest of the fairies, I can feel the some other lands. They's in me somewhere, I think. Some of them talk about missing it, but it brings them some sadness sometimes. So one of these days, when I'm done ferrying the fairies around, I'll go find the some other lands and bring them home, and then all the fairies can be happy again. And I got a friend. I see her every morning in the dawn of the sun, and she talks to me a little bit and teaches me how to do things. And so sometimes I say nice, gentle words to people, and then they feel good. Their sadness goes away. And sometimes, if they trip and fall and get stuck with all sorts of pincers and whatnot, well, then those go away too. And she tells me that I need to go somewhere soon. And that's kind of scary because, I stand right over there by that trunk, by that tree. That's kind of where I live. And I don't know what it's going to be like to leave and go somewhere else, but I think it's coming. I think it's going to come soon.
So do you imagine Trunk has also basically stayed in the forest and not moved in? Like you're still in the Fae community pretty much.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Trunk was probably deposited here in the woods as a Fae foundling, somewhere around 2 years old or so. How he got there, why he got there, that's unknown, certainly to Trunk.
I do want to throw, since you were deposited and by a tree, this is going to tie in, and you probably haven't been back, but the story is you were found by the big tree in the heart of the forest. But people don't go there much anymore because there's like this darkness that has crept in, and the Fae they're not comfortable there. So that would be just an anecdote that you would have heard, that you were found in the heart of the forest. And that kind of adds to this little mystery.
Wow, sounds like I gotta go fix that too then.
All right. So then you would clearly know, well, probably both these Fae. Definitely.
We're outsiders.
I mean, being that I'm a 7 foot 4 inch tall fairy, I'm pretty sure everybody in the community is at least.
You would be quite the anomaly. Definitely. Fun at parties also.
I don't really fit in the buildings much, but hey, yeah.
Well, yeah. Definitely not the little fairy, your little fairy houses that are like way up in the trees.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that you probably have some sort of little home or large home that you just fit into. Something.
I imagine throughout the years that I've been here, the various adopted family I've had have helped to construct something.
Yeah.
I certainly have no skill for it.
It's like a massive lean-to.
It does lean.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to it, so yep. It's a good name.
Okay. So we have a pretty solid connection on the left side of the table here, and then we've got a cross connection between unbeknownst to Tommy. between Zinnia and Tommy. So, Tommy.
Yeah. So I would imagine Tommy would have lived in Raven Rock his whole life. And some of these things have changed in my backstory. So I have to kind of, he would have gotten a job as a fisherman fairly early in his life. He's always been kind of the black sheep of his family, just because he's been in near constant legal and law-based trouble. But being fairly smart and having some natural athletic gifts, he would have done really well on the boats. So he's been kind of promoted there as an exchange agent to speak with the Audic people in the area, because, again, he's got the gift of gab, as he would say.
Nice.
And recently, life has been going fairly well for Tommy, with the exception of his ever-present, fairly annoying sister and her constant need to make up imaginary friends and languages and things. But he's very attached to his younger sister, and he would do anything to help her. And he doesn't, to him, her being a foundling is irrelevant. It's his sister just as much as if she had been born to the family.
Now, does Tommy actually still live at home then?
I mean, I suppose that may have changed. But I have in his backstory that he does not. He actually has his own apartment that his sister comes and sees him at very frequently.
Okay. I'm just thinking how it ties in, because you would probably, I mean, you would probably go also to their house too, or you?
Well, originally he was going to be that much of a black sheep that he wasn't really going to be invited back home.
Oh.
But we can retcon that.
I mean, if you're okay having at least, maybe I don't know, maybe not the best relationship, but
it's going to be a very tense relationship because they'll have been upstanding, like, business people in the area. I had them owning a bar.
I think that they were the owners of the Howling Hound, which is the main tavern inn in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a fairly contentious relationship, although lately it's kind of been a little bit better because he's somewhat successful in his recent endeavors.
All right. So maybe you have a weekly family dinner where you go see Brina and
yeah, and it's mostly arranged just so I can see Brina.
Yeah.
Because she is a sweetheart.
Okay. I like it.
And I can't imagine that with especially Fey influence, a rapscallion like Brina wouldn't be sneaking away from home to visit her brother anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking that she's just definitely not a troublemaker, but she's a free spirit.
Well, if she is a troublemaker, she got it from Tom.
So yeah, she probably comes down and also likes to watch the people on the boats and things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he would show off. Tommy would show off for his little sister too, like if she was watching the boat.
Oh yeah,
because he's kind of a show off.
I like it. Okay, all right. So I'm seeing how we're gonna come together in the story once I drop the story on you. It's making sense. So I can already see the camera's probably gonna start on Tommy, and then we'll snowball things together. But let's then talk about this enigmatic Derun.
So usually I've been thinking about different voices, and the reason why I did the Sean Connery idea was because to get him a character, I say, "Tosh me, don't you tell the elf." But, maybe that's a little bit too on the nose. So, kind of going with you, what are the names of the mountains north here of Raven Rock? Northwest.
Oh, you're asking me. You're asking
Yeah.
me what the names are.
Because I don't see. I'm on World Anvil. I see mountains.
Well, here.
So
no, that's an
kind of where
excellent-
those foothills there, north of Raven Rock. That's where I imagine I'm from originally. It's a village, but I've spent plenty of time in Raven Rock.
All right. Well, tell you what. We'll, if this helps you, I changed the map so you can see Shepherd's Vale. So they are. Oh, what are they called? Oh my goodness. I think they're the Dragon's Teeth. Hold on.
Are they just called the mountains?
No, they have a name. They do have a name, 100%.
Steve.
Knowing humans, they're just called the Hollow Hills.
Oh, yeah.
Before
Okay.
the humans, though.
All right. I will update the map because I didn't label it, and it is. Yes. So what about them?
So, well, I'm from a village just north of Raven Rock, northeast of the Hollow Wood. Some of the foothills. And long before many of you were here, we were here. And like I said before, I was not the fighter type, so I was sent to the Earth Elders. As a young boy, perhaps 7, 8, which is very young for a dwarf. My parents, they loved me, but they knew that I could not be a fighter in their family. So I went off and found the Earth Elders, and they taught me about things of magic, things that you wouldn't know unless you saw them yourself. About how all of this magic that you use is something special and is something that's been taken care of by the Celestials before us and the giants before us. And as the story goes, long after the Celestials have left this land, they employed the giants to watch over and to caretake over this earth. And there's stories of large monoliths that sit, and spires that sit and give power to this land. But like many other things, corruption will take the absolute power and turn it into evil. Well, my job is to make sure that all the things that give it power and protection of these ley lines that use all of this magic power, that we take care of it. And we were taught from the giants. We were a small artisan guild that were not into war, because if you don't know anything about a giant, giants aren't always friendly. And dwarves kind of didn't have a great relationship with them, but they found an artisan guild that was all about building, because we are builders. That's what we are. And they found us, and they taught the Earth Elders the way of protection, defending, and rebuilding these ancient ruins, these temples for all religions, and of course the spires that sit on the ley lines. So that's what I do. I use the ley lines to give me my direction in this world, and I have been sent to Raven Rock because there are things that need building, and there are temples that need working on. I've been here for about a year, I imagine, and I'm not a city folk, but I've learned how to get used to it. I get a lot of odd looks from a black wolf walking in town, so Kodra stays at home for most of the day unless I need her help at the site. So here I am, learning about my craft and hoping that one day I'll get to go out in the woods. I speak Sylvan because out in the woods you need to, because you run into Fae, but I myself have never gone on an adventure myself. I've always been in a small group. So hopefully I'll get to go out on my own and do something good for this world and protect the magic that exists in it.
All right. So you've come to Raven Rock and you've been here a year, and I'm thinking that because you were assigned here,
Mhm.
that we need to have, maybe a tie. Like, I'm thinking maybe
If there's something in town that I would be. There's temples in town, I'm guessing, right?
Well, yeah, there is a large called the Temple of the Five,
Mhm.
which basically has shrines for each of the pentacle gods. So that would be something.
Or if there's a ley line or something around that.
Well, what I'm thinking of, like maybe you've made. You know what? Maybe there was a previous, the existing Earth Elder guy that's been here. Maybe he's much older,
Sure.
that you were told to,
Study under him.
So like he's a much older dwarf.
Right.
Maybe we can flesh him out.
Can do that. And so basically, I'm an apprentice at this point.
So we need to, we'll get that. So that way you have at least, somebody that you know in town. Because I'm trying to think of how, I can think of how you can get tied in based on the initial hook.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like that, we don't have a lot of crossover. Like you don't actually
Sure.
know somebody. So how would you have met and had any sort of rapport with Tommy? It sounds like you guys are very different people.
Yeah, I live north of, like I said, a small. So we've known about Raven Rock. It's the biggest town here, so we've been there, and of course, dwarfs and humans in Raven Rock. There's definitely more heavily human, but it's not like seeing a dwarf would throw you off. I don't know. I mean,
no, there's plenty of dwarfs. Yeah,
I would say that perhaps my materials for building probably come from the docks, are shipped in. Such things. I mean, I don't know how much stone is around here, but certain materials and labor I would need. Perhaps I would employ the dockmen.
They're
Try to get stuff.
I do speak Dwarvish too, so it could be that. Well, Dwarvish, but I know it's
Caldethi. Yeah,
Yeah, I do speak that, so maybe I was sent over to be the exchange agent for that.
So okay? So kind of back up. You're thinking that you're thinking you don't live in Raven Rock now?
I do now. No.
Okay.
I do
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. You moved.
I was
there.
sent from the Earth Elders
Yeah,
to
all right.
be here, and this is kind of like. It's kind of like your priest would have your parish, right?
Yeah.
So this would be my location to take care of things that need tending to as far as building, because, well, if it's built by a dwarf, it doesn't fall apart, but humans love to destroy. So my job is to rebuild and to take care of it. So right now I'm a very young, in the group. So I'm just an apprentice. I'm learning these kind of things, and perhaps from a master. I've been taught from a master stonecutter, and I was sent down there to the docks to get like materials, because I imagine we'd have to have materials for rebuilding, not just anything that's there. And I don't know what kind of shipyards look like. We're on a river, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not really not shipyards,
Right.
But there's some basic docks,
Right. So I'm
yeah.
giving me materials from other places that we can't get them here, like
Yeah.
wood and stuff like that. And maybe was assigned to go down there and to set up the shipment.
So Raven Rock is a big exporter
Mhm.
of red clay.
Okay.
Like there's a huge red clay deposit.
Okay.
And so there's some big kilns here in town.
Mhm.
They make pretty infamous bricks that get exported.
Sure.
And logging. There's some logging export.
Mhm.
It's not a huge business, just because they continually have trouble like really logging as much as they want to, because they're
Right.
very regulated
Sure.
or interfered with by the Fae. But there is some logging, and then outside of that, the largest known commodities of the area are sheep and goats.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So probably the clay, the
Sure.
red clay would be a big tie-in. Since you brought
Yeah.
up the clay and you're doing the clay in your
Sure.
hair and stuff,
Yep.
so it would probably be like the local red clay then.
Right.
All right, so that's pretty interesting. So you've
If
at
that
least,
works for you.
You've at least met Tommy. I think let's
He's
flesh
a
out.
character.
I think I know how we're going to get started then.
Okay.
So we'll be starting off, I think, with Tommy, and I'll give you guys separately a little bit of backstory on. So this other dwarf will flesh him out, and I think it's going to be a little domino thing. So I feel good about it. We're not going to do the start in a bar and whatever. I mean, there's going to be a logical reason why you guys are going to be going on this first quest.
Not every adventure starts in a tavern.
No.
Mm.
A lot of them do, though.
Yeah,
They do. Okay.
Easy pickings.
All right. I mean, not as many ties together as I've had in the past, but I think it'll work.
All right.
All right. Well, do you guys have any other questions for each other that you think you really, as far as characters want, kind of answered before we do session 1?
I mean, I kind of want to be in the position of if I not like these 3 know each other, the Fae, but I don't know them, so I kind of like more of like learning to get to know them in game versus I don't want pre-existing ideas
Sure.
of what they are.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, I know Tommy. Kodra loves Tommy for some reason. Every time I bring Kodra down to the dock. I think it's the fish smell.
No,
Yeah.
we sat fat. Everybody loves Tommy.
Well, when we're talking about languages, just and I realize there's all sorts of funny names, and these are things we'll pick up as we go. I'm not going to do. I mean, you've had some reading material, but you mentioned your languages.
Yes, because I am a teacher's pet.
So you had said so. Sylvan is the Elvish tongue,
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Just make sure you
And giant.
Okay.
So
you
I'm
have
not Sylvan. Not like I don't know if it's still considered because I know that the elves in this are very woodsy.
They are.
So I don't know if that language is spoke by also the Fae or understood.
Nope.
No. There's not a lot of. I mean,
How do they feel about the elves? I guess we'll find out.
Um,
Because they build like their cities in the woods.
well, they do. They tend to be like so. The Hollywood is very much more of a Fey wood.
Mm-hmm.
So the elves have like really vast tracts of wood where their main civilizations are.
vast tracts of land.
Vast tracts of land. So there's not really an elven community here.
Okay.
Had we had a group of people wanting to be elves,
Sure.
I probably would have rewritten that. But I had already kind of written that this is a more of an elven, more of a Fey place.
Okay.
So like the local races predominantly just. So we've got the Fey in the wood. We've got a human dwarf mix in the town, predominantly human. We've got the Atrali, which are the otter people. They have a holt, which is like where they all kind of live in a little village, just a few miles from town. I think it's like 5 miles from town. There's a riverboat that their holt owns that provides service from Raven Rock to Kingsbridge, and actually beyond. We'll get more into that, so don't worry about too much. So there's the Atrali. So Tommy, you work with the Atrali. I'm actually going to incorporate some of this stuff because we had made some other characters previously, and so like you do know one named Skiplop. I'm going to that's part of the world.
Okay.
NPC.
If that's okay with you, yeah.
Yeah. I do also speak Otic, so
yeah. I definitely I don't know where all the stories are going to take us, but I love the Atrali, and I think that they're going to be, beings that we interact with. There's not much in the way of trolls in the town. There is a troll community way up in the hills, and they don't really come into town. And you would have, I say you, Matt, your character would not have had a lot of, at this point, probably no interaction with them. And
I don't really talk to many people.
There is a singular troll who lives in town named Halor. That's okay.
Yeah.
And he has a little magic shop.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as the trolls go, not a lot of troll presence. Definitely.
The Hollow Wood is pretty massive. From
It's
when I look
big.
at the map.
Yeah,
here,
it's quite large. Yeah.
And we don't like from the society part as far as our culture, like in Raven Rock. Is there like a lot of stories? These have not been traveled by a whole lot of the humans in there. I'm guessing with the amount of Fae that are kind of Fae controlled, that there's parts that you talk about the Fae don't go into. But the humans, are they welcome? It doesn't sound like they're that welcome into the woods or that far into it.
Well, so the hunters kind of figured out where it's safe. You don't go too deep because obviously there are natural dangers, bigger and bigger creatures and things like that.
Right.
The Fae tend to be more pranksters.
And it depends on what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm trying to just get an idea of what's the preconceived like trope of the Fae in town. What do we think of them? What are the stories about them?
They are. I don't think the people would be fearful of them for the most part. They're wary of them because they see them as troublemakers. I mean, more than one hunter has told a story of waking up around the remains of a small fire without his pants and a hangover and some vague memories of crazy dancing and drinking with a bunch of fawns. Like,
you guys know any leprechauns?
Hmm?
Do you know any leprechauns?
There's no leprechauns.
Mm-mm.
There are corrids though.
Mm.
The wild-haired
Sure. Oh,
little
yeah.
dudes.
Nice hair.
So yeah, and there's a lot in Fae. There's not just one Fae, right?
Right.
They're the friendlier Fae who tend to be they're fascinated by humans and they can be troublemakers. They can be helpers.
Sure.
And then there are some malevolent Fae, like will-o-wisps. You know, if you
Yep.
go into the swamps, they're the ones that will lure people to their death. So humans, you know, when we introduce these Fae, it's gonna be, oh wow, there should be some wonder, some surprise. But if they see a fairy, they're not going to be fearful. It's going to be more like a little bit of gawking. And the same with the fawns. Fawns are known as, you know, they know that they're revelers. Can't say the word today. Partiers.
Yeah.
But they definitely don't just normally wander the streets.
Okay. And have I heard of any news from the elders about anything goings on outside of town? Have I heard whispers from my...
I mean, as far as what?
Just like you said, there were certain parts of the forest that you guys they're staying away. It's kind of dark area. Is there, you know, basically if I'm thinking of like based upon, I'm trying to think of, so I kind of fleshed out the idea of the Earth Elders, what they're protecting. Is there anything major right now that they're not, or are they keeping that out of the loop of a small nobody? Because we're a dwindling group. And we're not really taken seriously by a lot of people. We're just seen as construction guys, basically. You know, so someone's got to watch the rocks. Right?
There are some points of interest in this area, which, I mean, it was interesting that you chose that backstory. There's a lot of the things you guys. Ooh, well, we're getting some feedback.
Well,
No, it was I heard.
Yeah, I heard it too.
I wonder if somebody's phone was buzzing. All right, well, it went away. Yeah, no, I'll give you a little bit more. I mean, we kind of talked about this interesting windmill. That's in the Vale. That you know definitely has some leyline properties, and you've probably gone to see it. And there's the World Pillar, which is like 250 miles away. Which, I mean, yeah, as a quest thing, you would definitely love to go see that, but it's
on my bucket list.
It's very dangerous. So
on my bucket.
All right. Well, I mean, I feel like we have a good starting point. I'll probably send each of you a few little notes and stuff, and then when we start session 1, we will just
jump in. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, this was our session 0. That's kind of what I imagine some session 0s go for. A lot of times we would make characters at the table together, but that's really not. That would be the worst recording experience ever. So we're gonna call that a wrap, and looking forward to getting started on the campaign.
Yay!
So thanks everyone.
All right.
See
you soon.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed our show and want more, please leave us a rating and review on whichever platform you use. And of course, feel free to share us on social media. We'll be back next week with more adventures in the world of Tellus. To tide you over, you can read more about the cast, characters, and the world of Tellus at AdventuresEdgeRPG.com. And if you're headed out on your own adventure, don't forget to bring a 10-foot pole.